everyone, this is the setup for Protege las Pulseras, an escape room game for the Pulsera project. We're going to go through each one of the clues that you are going to need to participate in this game and also the setup of each. First of all, the main supply that you're going to need is something that you can lock up. I am using a toolbox, but you can use anything such as a backpack, a suitcase, anything that you would be able to close and lock with this item called a hasp. All of your locks will go inside each one of those little holes. Your students will solve clues in order to open this up and ultimately help save the Pulseras by learning a little bit more about the project and solving clues along the way. So here we go. The first lock that we're going to go to is the word lock. You'll need to go to the Google Drive and print out the online file related to this clue. You'll see that there are 6 tags that will need to be printed out and then 5 Pulsera bracelets. One of these clues is available in English or Spanish. Choose which language you're going to run the game in and only include one of these 2 tags. For this lock, if you're playing in English, you'll set your lock to BPREY, or if playing in Spanish, you'll set it to AOREL. The first thing you'll need to do is on the back of the tags, you will use the invisible ink pen to write the specific number indicated by the file. Eventually in the game, the students will find an invisible ink flashlight, and they will use this to look at the back of the clue, and they will see specific numbers. This one has a 5 on the back, so they will know that the color associated with this tag is going to go in the 5th spot on the word lock. So students will need to look at these tags, and they will see that each tag has a specific style indicated, and they will need to match this with the style of bracelet. For example, if they see the papel, the paper bracelet, they'll have to use trial and error to figure out that this is the paper bracelet. They'll eventually, once they find the flashlight, they'll look at the back of it, see that this is number 1, and that this bracelet is blue. Using the indicated clue, we'll see that blue is a B, and you'll enter that in the number 1 spot with a B. And they'll do this for each of those 5 bracelets to help them learn the different style of pulseras. Next up, we have the 3-digit lock. There's a couple different ways you can do this. You can either purchase a 3-digit lock box, such as this, that has the lock built into the box, or you can purchase a 3-digit lock and tie it onto any sort of container that you have. I'm using this little black case. You can use a pencil pouch, anything that you can lock up. You can also choose to just put this lock on your end goal too, your ending container. So for this challenge, they're going to eventually find some Nicaraguan Cordoba hidden around the room, along with this note that indicates that this amount of Cordoba is equal to $5 US, the cost of a bracelet. Once they count up this money, they'll see that it is 168 Cordoba, and that is the 3-digit lock 168. Next to set up is the 4-digit lock. You'll need to set your 4-digit lock to 1034. Make sure you print out the files on the Google Drive, and you'll also need to find 3 folders and label them 1, Employment, 2, Education in the US, and 3, Impact. Once your students find these, they'll also find the Post-it note hidden with them that tells them that they need to file these papers into the appropriate folders. There will be stories of education, impact, and employment, which are the 3 main components of the Pulsera project. When they have sorted these correctly, there will be 10 stories of employment, there will be 3 stories of education in the US, and there will be 4 stories of their impact around the world. The next lock is the directional lock, and there are 2 options for this lock. If you have access to technology in your classroom and computers, you may choose to put this clue on a flash drive, which allows a little bit more access to cultural information. However, if that is not a possibility, simply print out this map and it will allow your students to do the same thing. Eventually, your students will find a cell phone hidden in the classroom, and you can choose to print this in either English or Spanish, and they will see that all of the places listed in the text messages are the same locations identified on this map. First, students will start out in Granada, and then they will head to El Chile. From El Chile, they'll go to Colectivo Chichigalpa. From there, they'll head to Tegucigalpa, and then on to Guatemala to see the Mayamam Weavers, and finally in Sani Cooperative. If you follow those directions, it goes up, left, up, left, right. And that will allow you to open up your directional lock. A key lock is also used in this game. If you have requested that Pulseras come with your Pulsera project, it's fun to place a key inside of a Pulsera. However, if you did not request these, you can always tape this onto the back of any of your clues, and once students find it, they'll be able to open up this key lock. Ultimately, this is what you are going to have for your class and what you will hide around the room. The final box is what your prize will be in, so you'll want to place a bag of Pulseras inside that your students have saved, and this will be available to your students throughout the entire game. Make sure whatever you lock, you are able to lock with this hasp, so a backpack, luggage, suitcase, toolbox, anything you have. And on this hasp, you will place the word lock, the 4-digit lock, the key lock, and the directional lock. If you are not purchasing the 3-digit lock box, you may also want to put your 3-digit lock here. If you are using the 3-digit lock box or the 3-digit lock on some sort of container, make sure you place all your Pulseras mixed up with the tags inside, and then close the box and hide this around your room. You'll also want to hide the key for the key lock. If you received Pulseras, maybe stick it inside of a Pulsera, or you can tape it to the back of any clue. Your invisible ink flashlight will need to be available to your students, so hide this, or you can place it inside this box to make this clue a little bit easier and help the students connect the invisible ink flashlight to this clue. You'll hide the Nicaraguan Cordoba along with the note. Choose to hide either the flash drive or the paper map along with the cell phone. And finally, these files to organize and sort will be hidden in the room as well. Once you do that, it's ready to start. You'll just read out the introduction to your classroom and they are ready to help protege las pulseras.